Hello, and thank you for tuning into MellowVision. We are an independent music journalism network, and today we are joined by Drugdealer here at Fisherman's Village Music Festival 2023. It's really great having you on. What was your impression of the festival today?
We got here pretty late. Seems pretty cool. We got here, we had to jump on stage and play, so that's always a little bit hectic compared to a normal club show, but it's always fun no matter what,
Yeah, just make it work.
Yeah.
I hear you on that. Now, pretty recently, you put out a new single called Lip Service, and I'm curious, was that a Lucy just from hiding in plain sight sessions, or is that kind of the signal of a new era or a new sound?
It's not necessarily a signal of a new sound, but it's more of a signal of like kind of a new direction of releasing, because after making albums for a while, I'm sort of trying to take a break and I'm kind of tired of making albums because I spend like 3 or 4 years making albums, and I just want to release singles for the next period where I can just make different styles of songs. I like collaborating with people, so kind of just want to be like, whenever there's a song, just release it. So that's the direction I'm going in, and that was the first one that we did.
Yeah, and so you're big on collaboration. You've worked with Wiseblood and all these other great artists over the years. When you're kind of working on a new single and you have maybe a sound or a part you want somebody to sing, how do you like get that person in mind? Like, what's your vetting process?
Well, I mean, occasionally I'll start writing something and I'll be like, first of all, okay, I'm not going to sing this one.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll have somebody in mind. A lot of times I'll just make the song, and then I'll just, because I'm really interested in filmmaking as well, and I think of it as basically just like casting, so I'm like, who is going to be the principal actor in this scene, this imagined kind of universe. So for sure. I just, I'm lucky to know a lot of good singers, and I'm just like,
that helps.
That's the main thing. Just happen to know so many good singers, and like, how can I work with all of them?
Speaking of like casting call, I know that you've had a tradition of having crowd members come up on stage and play with you. When did that start? And when you were doing that, have you ever like made a connection with somebody where you were like, let's keep in touch and make music together?
I think it was just like after the pandemic, I was like, when I started making music, the first music I made, I didn't know how to play any instruments, so I would just only have people sing into a microphone, and I would just loop them. And then I started to write songs, and I kind of deviated away from that. So I'm just, I miss the whole like experimental like noise kind of style of performance. So I'm just trying to like infuse that kind of like chaotic spontaneity back into this like more structured song thing,
And bring both pieces together.
And I like collaborating with people in general. So when we're on tour, I'm just like, sure, it seems like when we play a show, like at least half of the people who come to see us make music as well. So I'm just trying to be like, bridge the gap a little bit.
That's sweet. I like that a lot.
And it's, it's like free exploitative labor,
True,
because we didn't, come up with an agreement before. Sometimes we have the best saxophonist in the city come up just because they want to play on the songs, and it's like, it's an exploitative art form that ends up also empowering people in the same right, you know.
Like has that like mutual benefit still. I hear it.
Yeah. I like to blur the lines, and also like there's a huge gap between the audience and the performer all the time, and it's like, you know, I haven't been making music my whole life, so it's like I like to, you know, assimilate and normalize that, you know, as much as I can.
Totally. That's cool. I'm curious, what's your favorite Steely Dan song or album?
I don't really listen to albums at all.
Oh yeah? I
just listen to songs. My favorite song is probably like the Donald Fagen solo album.
That's good.
Like maybe like IGY or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like their pop music, you know, like I'm not really into their like, there's a lot of kids that are like from me starting to play music were, you know, kind of Steely Dan like purists and like sort of like elitist about it, you know, and it's like that music that they made that's like that's their mountaintop is like it's fine, but for me, whenever that band is just trying to make like dumb like, you know, pastiche rock, like they're just so good naturally that I think it's interesting. So.
Yeah, that's a cool take.
Yeah,
I also like their popular stuff. So
yeah.
How much are you skating these days?
I'm not skating at all.
Oh yeah.
I broke my leg skateboarding during the pandemic, and then I tore all the ligaments in the shoulder skating after I healed. So I'm taking a break, but you know, I try to hang out with as many of my friends in that industry as possible because I miss it so much, and I want to skate again, but yeah, it's just been like, because of this shoulder, whenever I fall skating, my shoulder has a 50-50 chance of popping out. So because of just starting to tour again, we've had to take a break.
You gotta be careful, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely miss it a lot.
I hear you. You were kind of talking about coming from more of a noisy background, obviously in the Rhode Island scene. Over the years, you've had a big transition, kind of going from that sound to now music. Like I could show one of your newer songs to one of my grandparents, and
that's the whole idea.
And they would love it. Like, how was that transition for you? Like, when did that really kick in, where you were just like, I'm gonna make?
Well, for me, it's like I was like making kind of like amorphous like drone music, but there were so many other people doing that I thought were so good at it, and there weren't a lot of people trying to make like I thought it was more, for me, because I didn't grow up playing music, I thought the most experimental thing would be to try to make traditional songs, but the most challenging thing, and so that was a big thing. And then when I was living in Baltimore making more weirdo music, I, like many years ago, I lived with Natalie Weisblood when she was making one of her albums. I think it was like The Innocents or something, and it was just me and her living in a house together, and I would just hear her in the attic making these beautiful songs, and I was just like, well, that seems like that's the thing, you know.
So you kind of fed off.
She was a big influence for me, starting to make songs.
Yeah, totally in a similar pocket.
And you know, yeah, I started to just get obsessive compulsive with it, like finding like hooks and things that reminded me of a myriad of different songs, and just, you know, my parents had played me all this music from the 70s and 60s when I was growing up, but I never really cared about it, and then I just realized that it was all just ingrained in my head. So I thought it was interesting to just like try to make my own versions of it, you know?
Yeah, it's all there. You just have to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't have to dig very. I mean, I don't listen to music very much at all. I mostly listen to like film Q&A podcasts and then like talk radio all day. And then when I go to make music, I mean, there's already so much just pop music detritus in the back of my head, and then I just kind of like filter it through whatever I'm feeling at the time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's it's cool to hear about your process on that. What's next for Drugdealer these days?
Well, I have a bunch of songs that I've been working on that are like just singles, and I'm just trying to actually, instead of release 9 songs every 3 years, I'm trying to release like 8 songs a year.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
But like just drop them like pretty randomly, and like sort of get out of the like traditional PR structure and just like put out more music this year and just like let it out into the, you know, metaverse or whatever. And and then I'm moving into finally making a film that I've been working on pre-production for 6 years or something like that. So just, you know, being able to work on that more full time, and then whenever I make a song for fun, just release it without really much afterthought. Just kind of more, and you know, just a more erratic just output of just whatever I'm working on with whoever.
For sure.
Is the next evolution, I feel like.
Sweet. Well, I know that you've been on the road, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I really appreciate you sitting down and talking.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. Yeah.
If anybody hasn't heard of Drugdealer, all of his socials will be down in the bio, so please go and follow him. Also, make sure to smash that motherfucking like and subscribe button. MellowVision is, you know, it's brought to you. It's independent journalism, and stay tuned.